Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and today we've got some breaking news coming from especially Israel. First, I just really want to quickly say thank you to all the new people who've decided to join the channel. I thank you very much, and I hope you like this video. So, first news are coming from below the Israel border to very south and on the Egyptian border. Apparently, there's been a huge strike that happened on the city of Elliot. So apparently the Iraqi Islamic resistance has announced that it had targeted the city with a kamikaze drone. So if you can see here, we don't know what they were striking or even if it hit the target it was meant to or it got shot down. It kind of looked like it got shot down at the end because of flames and stuff. That doesn't really look like a drone. But who knows? I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to military equipment. But apparently that happened. We don't know anything else. But you can also hear the sirens in the bottom left corner. So sirens went off. There probably were more than one strike. There was probably a couple. We don't know how many strikes in total, but very interesting. And there was also clashes in the city of Jen. I believe that's how you pronounce that name. So if you can hear this footage on the bottom left corner, so here's the footage. Apparently there was probably rebels that rose up in the city, and there was big fights against the Israeli army, the IDF, and the rebels. I don't really know what's happening there, but apparently there's big clashes. Right, we got stuff coming from the Donetsk, this city here in the occupied zone of Ukraine. So apparently there's been an unfortunately strike, a Ukrainian strike on the city that did end up killing a lot of civilians. Sorry, 3 civilians. Um, Apparently this was hit by MLRs. So this is a kind of system of a rocket launcher. So there's apparently 3 civilian casualties. Very unfortunate what's happened here today, and we hope the shelling of this city stops quite soon. And we got some pretty interesting news coming from the Belgorod region. Well, not really Belgorod, but if you see here, this man here with this giant backpack on. So apparently, the Russia has conducted successful testings of the REB backpack. It is an anti-drone signal, like anti-device for drones. So apparently it successfully suppresses the signal of FPV drones at 200 meters. So this can be a big game changer because I'm only thinking that most casualties on the front lines are due to drones, and most tanks are destroyed due to drones. So maybe if the Russian forces add these to their tanks at the back of their tanks, and this becomes more widely used of the Russian army, it could potentially save thousands and thousands, or maybe hundreds of thousands of lives. So very interesting news. We got news coming from Moscow that apparently 90 Russian servicemen were released from captivity yesterday and they landed in Moscow. So these people were captured by the Ukrainian forces, and they did some sort of trade agreement or uh, prisoner replacement agreement. So 90 Russian soldiers are going home to their family tonight. And we got some news coming from the EU. So this is probably the biggest news today, that the EU has formally launched its negotiations on Moldova's access to the European Union and Ukraine. So this is pretty big news. I don't know if Russia's that against the European Union expansion too, because they're really just worried about Russian NATO expansion into Ukraine. I'm not sure about the European Union. So I don't know how Russia's going to respond to this, but the European Union, the people ahead of it, said Ukraine faces a long and difficult road to membership in the European Union. Despite the support of European Commissions and chiefs, von der Leyen, that's the head of the European Union. So she said that it's going to be difficult. It might even take years. We don't know. It could take months. Um, we don't know, but Moldova might get into the European Union first, then Ukraine. Turkey's been asking to get into the European Union for a long time now, but it seems that Ukraine's more important than Moldova. So, very interesting news. We got some news coming from Hungary. The Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter has said that the European Union has crossed the red line regarding to the EU Council Foreign Minister's approval of the allocation of 1.4 billion euros from Russian assets to Kiev. So this is very big. This is very big news. 1.4 billion Russian frozen assets are going straight to Ukraine, I think into the coming weeks. So, as always, I'll keep you updated on that. As you probably know, the head of NATO is getting replaced. The ongoing Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte has will become the next NATO's head on Wednesday after the ambassadors of all 32 member countries greenlight his appointment, diplomats say Tuesday. So, very big news, a new head of NATO coming into place. Very interesting news. And we don't know if he's going to take Russia the same way, or he might be a bit more pro-peace. We don't know if this will actually change anything on the front lines or anything. But, oh well. The Israeli defense minister has arrived in the at the Pentagon, and he requests for weapons. So, we might have to look out for if there's an Israeli aid package that comes to Israel in the next couple of days. But Israel has done that. There's been news of sorry. Let's go back to the US really quickly. The Pentagon chief Austin in a conversation with Belousov, emphasized the importance of maintaining communications between the US and the Russian military. So, not hope is not all gone yet. So, the US and the US military and the Russian military are still communicating at a, probably a decent point. So, that's really good to hear. We got news coming from Macron. For some reason, Macron has warned the French of an imminent civil war. So he stated that the far-right National Rally Party and the left-wing coalition New Popular Front, which are leading in the polls in the early parliamentary elections, could provoke a civil war in France. Macron said in an interview with the Generation Do-It-Yourself podcast. So, very, very big claims coming from here. So, he's saying that more extremist parties, I believe, in France and the political parties in France are gaining power, and this can provoke a civil war coming in France, which I don't know what to say about that. So, we'll see in the future. So, Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, has stated this. If anyone thinks that when we are invited to the second session, we will just happily run there, they are mistaken. We are ready to talk only on the equal basis, Lavrov stated about the Zelensky peace conference. So he's saying that in order to have a peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine, they have to be equal. So Russia does have to be invited to the the, the conference. I cannot believe that Russia was not invited at the first conference, but very interesting. And he said that we won't just happily run there, stating that like Russia doesn't really need this as much as you do or something. I don't know. But he also arrived in Belarus. Sergei Lavrov also confirmed that during the SCO summit, Belarus will become a full participant in the organization. So very, very interesting. Apparently there's been huge protests in Kenya in yesterday. So protests in Kenya, the Kenya Parliament seized, fatalities reported. Protesters in Kenya stormed the Parliament building after a session where a decision was made to raise the taxes. So demonstrators were vandalizing and setting the administrate buildings on fire. It's already reported that the local media has reported 8 people have already died, and there's more than 200 people that have been injured during this protest. And there's been some early reports that the police in Kenya have opened fire on these protesters with allegedly with live rounds. So we don't know yet if that's confirmed, but very big news if that's confirmed. And again, we've got news from North Korea. North Korea has also done another package of the trash balloons. It was reported that North Korea has just sent another 350 balloons that has landed on their territory from North Korea. So this is pretty. I don't know what to say about this news, but we could expect South Korea to respond pretty soon, but with like leaflets or maybe something else, or what they did last time with just blasting music um, on the border towards North Korea. So apparently the return of the module of the Chinese lunar probe Chang'e 6 on Thursday morning delivered soil samples collected on the far side of the moon, and it has reported has landed on Earth safely on Earth. A capsule with the Rigoloff was dropped from a probe by a parachute, if you can see in this video, a parachute in the Inner Mongolian province. So this is the first time in history that samples of the lunar soil has been collected from this far side of the moon and has been delivered to Earth. So China is expanding its space uh, efficiency and spending more money in their space research. So very interesting. And we could probably expect more countries to join on this. So again, I am Nancy News. I will provide you news that Western medias and other medias do not tell you. I do these videos daily, and I try to provide you just the Nancy news that every day happens. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you like and subscribe, and I'll see you all hopefully in the next video. Take care.